Hi everyone, so welcome to Investing for Value. So today I'm going to talk about oil futures because if you're invested in oil, well, oil futures is going to basically let you know the truth because we can read all the articles out there that the economy is opening and that oil supply is being cut. But if oil futures do in fact go down closer to the expiry, then it kind of just tells you the situation hasn't changed. Because oil prices right here, they can go up as much as they like in terms of the futures. But when it comes to just this expiry date on 19th of May for the June futures, it's basically going to let us know what the real situation is because these are legal binding contracts and this is real oil being delivered from the seller to the buyer, right? So if you own these futures and you don't want delivery of this oil because you don't know where you're going to put this oil, well, you're going to, try to sell it at basically any cost. And hence why back in May we saw May futures for oil just go negative because basically when delivery date comes, no one really wants to take this. A lot of people who trade these things, they have no intentions of actually accepting the actual trade itself. So when the expiry date comes next week, which is a very, very close, we're going to see what's going to happen with these prices. If they go down dramatically, then you basically know the situation has not changed. Oil prices are not sustainable where they are. There is too much supply compared to demand, and basically, if you own an oil stock, then the future's still not as bright as it's been put. And if you own an oil tanker stock, they're still going to get some really good rates because contango is still in play. Even right now, the contango is still in play, but as you can see, the spread differences isn't that high. Like if we took this like back to last month, the 1 month difference was as much as like $5. Right now we're just seeing about just $1.20 around there. So right now the spread isn't too big. And if the spread isn't too big, then the opportunity to buy the June futures and then take the oil and then sell it in July, there's not really much incentive to do that. But if the spread grows large, then basically it starts creating opportunity for people to start making profit through arbitrage. So we're gonna just like watch these June futures and then see how they go because there's a lot of interesting things that basically we can interpret from the results of the June futures, right? So if June futures stay where they are, then it's actually not a bad situation for oil. But if the June futures go significantly below 20 or significantly below 10, even negative, then basically the situation has not changed, and it actually lets us know the real picture. Because right now we just don't have the best clue. I think we all have a hunch that basically supply is easily outweighing demand. But at the end of the day, it's always nice to see the actual results and just to see uh, how the situation is. It may not be as bad as May because a lot of people are expecting negative. If it does actually fall into negative, then that means it's really bad. If it doesn't fall into negative but it falls very, very low, then I think that's also going to be a bad situation. So watch this date, 19th of May, just a little bit over a week to go, and then we're going to get some, basically, what is actually happening in this market, and it probably helped boost oil tanker stocks. If you know my channel, I've been doing so many videos on oil tankers, and the price is not representing the actual value that they're producing. That's because everyone kind of thinks this situation is just going to revert back to normal. I don't think it's going to revert back to normal, but I think this is going to be very, very good evidence, and it's also going to back it up why oil tanker stocks are good. But of course, if it doesn't change, then maybe there's a bit of worry about the oil tanker stocks, that they might not get the rates that they've been getting because things are starting to change, the economy's getting back to normal, demand of oil is starting to come back in. But if it goes negative, then basically we have a very good idea. Alright, so I think that just sums up what I wanted to just speak about. Let me know if there's anything you know want to ask, or I'm always interested in hearing your perspective. Until then, good luck investing, everyone.